ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
San Diego County is back in the purple tier, the state's toughest tier in regards to COVID-19 restrictions. The new laws that will have an impact on all aspects of our day-to-day life, from how we shop, dine, work, and worship. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. We have team coverage tonight. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura has more on the businesses that will be forced to close and the consequences if they don't.
County officials say they have no desire to put restrictions on businesses, but they say it's something that has to happen because of the rise in COVID-19 cases.
Slowing the spread of COVID is like turning an aircraft carrier. It's not a jet ski. It doesn't turn on a dime.
At Tuesday's news conference, San Diego County leaders made it clear the county has a tough road ahead. The county has fallen into the state's most restrictive tier of coronavirus-related rules following an increase in COVID-19 cases.
There's no specific one thing that is driving this. It is really community spread.
In the purple tier, some operations will only be allowed to continue outdoors. That includes places of worship, movie theaters, playgrounds, museums, gyms, zoos and aquariums, restaurants, wineries, family entertainment centers, and card rooms. Here's what will be partially open in the purple tier. K-12 schools will do distance learning if they're not already open in person. Retail stores and indoor malls will be open at 25% capacity. No food courts and common areas will be open in the malls. Offices will be pushed towards working remotely. Professional sports can continue without live audiences. And here's a list of what's closed. Bars, breweries, and distilleries, live audience sports, and amusement parks will be closed as well. County officials saying there will be consequences for those that break the rules.
So our hope is those businesses will understand, will comply, and if they choose not to, then we will have compliance teams there that can issue public health orders to require their closure, and law enforcement certainly has the capacity and ability to ticket them and fine them. But again, we don't want it to come to that.
The new restrictions take effect Saturday morning. The county also says that they are sending some 40,000 masks to law enforcement agencies. The hope is that patrol officers can distribute them out to people they see not wearing face coverings. In addition, they are writing a letter to the travel and tourism industry, including hotels and companies like Airbnb, asking for their help to ensure there are no large gatherings. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
And we continue our team coverage with our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo, who spoke with restaurant owners struggling to modify their properties before those new restrictions take effect.
Businesses have until Saturday to close indoor operations. Here at the San Diego Chicken Pie Shop, they are hoping to have this outdoor area ready by next week.
It's like a yo-yo.
A yo-yo is how Shayla Costello describes the feeling of falling into the purple tier of the state's COVID-19 reopening plan. Costello has worked at San Diego Chicken Pie Shop for decades.
We just need to do what we have to do. Wash your hands and do whatever we're supposed to do, and let people be able to stay open and make money.
The restaurant, a staple in San Diego since the late 1930s, is rushing to modify its outdoor space to allow for more customers. It will close indoors and still offer to-go.
It's going to hurt some of our workers because they're going to be laid off again. And hopefully they will be able to keep some of them, but it's going to be very less than part-time now.
In Little Italy, Barbusa says it will also follow the state's restrictions.
It's been a rough battle with us. We've gone from inside to outside to inside. I like to say we're on Barbusa 4.0.
Joey Busalaki is the manager, admitting that at times they've debated staying open indoors.
I've had those thoughts, and I think every small business have had those thoughts.
Starting Saturday, Barbusa will only serve customers outside. Busalaki hopes people will follow the rules so the county can move back into less restrictive tiers.
I hope we can all get through it. Everyone wear their masks so we can, have our small businesses intact.
Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
And San Diego County is not alone in moving back. Sacramento and Stanislaus County, just east of the Bay Area, also returned to the purple tier. And today, the state's Secretary of Health and Human Services, Dr. Mark Galley, was asked about the tier system and whether rising cases in California would translate to tighter restrictions in each tier.
we talk about not just loosening restrictions through the blueprint, but when needed, tightening. So we believe California has a framework that is going to help us get through the next many months, but we evaluate it constantly.
Dr. Galley also said that next week he estimates more than half of California's counties will move back into a more restrictive tier. San Diego County will stay in this purple tier for about 3 weeks.
Here are the latest local numbers. The county announced 483 new cases today, bringing our total now to more than 61,000. There were also 7 new deaths, bringing that total to 915.
And tonight, the San Diego Unified Board of Education unanimously approved the superintendent's reopening plan, which includes a phased approach. It also includes a $5 million investment to bring testing into its schools through a partnership with medical experts at UCSD. Testing would be offered every 2 weeks and would start with the students and the staff currently back on campus and expand with each new phase.
We're saying to parents that we will be confident that when your students come back onto campus, it will be safe.
It's unclear if testing is going to be mandatory. The district is currently in phase 1 of its reopening plan and will continue to expand an appointment-based in-person learning for students experiencing learning loss. You can stay on top of any new developments with our coronavirus status by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
Your voice, your vote. The race for the District 2 seat on the County Board of Supervisors is now nearly a dead heat. Look at this. Today's updated vote total showed Joel Anderson now leading Steve Voss by just 7 votes. But both candidates are Republicans, so the balance of power on the board will not be decided by this race. There are still more votes left to count, and the next update will be at 5 p.m. tomorrow. We'll keep you updated. Tonight, Democrats clinched 2 more years of controlling the House, but with a potentially razor-thin majority. The party secured at least 218 seats in the 435-member chamber. There are still more votes to be counted, so remaining seats have yet to be called. Democrats expected to possibly win 15 new seats in a Democratic wave. Well, that didn't happen. Instead, Democrats lost ground and Republicans have gained 6 so far.
It has been 1 week since Election Day, 3 days since ABC News projected Joe Biden president-elect, and still there is no concession from President Trump. But as ABC's Rena Roy reports, Biden is forging ahead.
President-elect Joe Biden charging forward with his transition into the nation's highest office as President Trump refuses to concede.
I just think it's an embarrassment. Quite frankly.
President Trump hasn't made a public appearance since last Thursday, instead firing off a series of defiant tweets, still insisting, quote, "We will win." Trump's campaign filing long-shot lawsuits, nearly all of which have been thrown out in court with no evidence of widespread voter fraud. The stunning comment from Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
Most Republicans in Congress also reinforcing the baseless narrative.
Have you congratulated Vice President Biden yet? Why not?
Attorney General Bill Barr also going against long-standing government policy, authorizing investigations into the election even before the results are certified by states. Meantime, Biden keeping busy, focusing on the coronavirus pandemic, economy, and the future of the Affordable Care Act. Also taking congratulatory phone calls from world leaders.
I wanted really to congratulate you and congratulate Kamala Harris for this election.
Biden's message to them:
I'm letting them know that America's back.
The General Services Administration, which facilitates the transfer of power, has still not recognized Biden as the winner. But the president-elect says he will still have all he needs to transition, even without the agency's help. Rena Roy, ABC News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Earlier today, we spoke with law professor Craig Barkas with the University of San Diego. He spoke from a legal perspective about the chances the U.S. Supreme Court will hear the challenges brought by the Trump administration.
The Supreme Court really does not want to find itself in a position of overturning an election that was determined by the balloting of the citizens. And And in Pennsylvania right now, I think Biden has something like a 45,000 vote lead. And to after the fact say, well, we're not going to count certain votes, we're going to count others. I don't see the Supreme Court going that way.
And Barkas also says as the Supreme Court takes up the Affordable Care Act, it's possible that it may sever the individual mandate while still keeping the rest of the statute.
And the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the case of the Affordable Care Act today. Now Americans await that decision. The court's ruling, when it comes probably early next year, has implications for more than 20 million Americans who currently get their health insurance through the ACA. Today, President-elect Joe Biden defended the law, saying the middle of a pandemic is not the time to take away Americans' health care coverage.
This argument will determine whether health care coverage of more than 20 million Americans who acquired it under the Affordable Care Act will be ripped away in the middle of the nation's worst pandemic in a century. Over 100 million people with pre-existing conditions like asthma, diabetes, cancer could once again be denied coverage.
The court is expected to hand down its ruling sometime next spring.